The devil's tricky. He's the most subtle of all the beasts. And he comes to you, and he's not as an enemy that is apparent, but one that is hidden. It came to Eve when no one else was around. Why her? It said the man was not deceived, but Eve, being in deception, came to her when no one was around. And resist the devil and he will flee from you. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. And it's just because he has tactics, thousands of years of practice into the human mind and nature. You'll be in a conversation that doesn't seem so readily wicked or evil, and it's not about sin, it's not about fornication, it's not about drugs, it's not about evil, and before you know it, but it is evil, because it may be talking about this person or what this person is doing. Worse, for example, we look at pregnancy. They tell you how unmarried people in their family are pregnant, and then it comes, congratulations. Tell them congratulations. That's wonderful. And you know what? You don't really believe that's wonderful. You don't. It says that those that do such things are worthy of death. If we do them, we are worthy of death. And it said you not only do them, but take pleasure in them to do. And it's just, the devil is just, and it's the whole world lies in wickedness. Their whole perception of what is good and what's wrong. Woe unto you to call evil good and good evil. The world sees evil as good. And if you're a Christian, you have a Christian home, it's a cult. A cult. They see good as evil. Leave those people alone. They're good people when you preach the gospel to them. It's madness when the gospel is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. The Jew first and also to the Greek. But the gospel is the power of God. And yet, they shame you for speaking it, for partaking in the work of the Lord. But they call evil good. We think about in our natural state, the life that we lived. We rejoiced to do evil. We planned, plotted. We enjoyed being cunning. We wanted to be known as being cunning. Strength was dominating over another person, getting over on another person, whether by the mind, physically, deceiving. We used to love getting away with a lie. Enjoy it. Find a thrill. And this is the state that they're in their bondage. They still are there. Though you have come out with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, they are still there. This is what they love. But it says you shine as lights in a dark world. Shine as lights. Well, they may accuse your good conduct of evil, but they may be ashamed when they see your good works. And they are ashamed. They're ashamed to see righteousness. They're ashamed to see holiness. They're ashamed to see the evidence of God. Like it says, if you are reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of God and of glory rests upon you. So we're reproached because the Spirit of God is there, and it's convicting to those who live in this wickedness. Somebody who wants to lie, who loves to lie, and is a slave of fear of death. They don't want to see that someone can be honest. They want to believe that everyone is a liar. Someone who cheats a lot. They think everybody's cheating on them. Someone who will do sneakiness and plot and plan, they think everyone is. I think that's just the way the world works. They have to tell themselves that so they don't feel ashamed. When they hear the gospel, when they see righteousness, when they see holiness, they feel ashamed. And so they plot. The wicked plots against the just, gnashes on him with his teeth. They lie in wait. to deceive. It says they lose sleep if they cause not some to fall. They lose sleep. They need that to comfort their soul, to comfort their conscience. The worst thing they could see is the evidence of the truth of God, living with hands and with feet, walking. And so what is right to them, what is okay to them, what is acceptable to them, as you're in conversations, you will find yourself being slowly lulled to sleep. It's like desensitizing. You hear it so many times, all of a sudden it's not a shock anymore. You hear it so many times, or this, or that, and this, and that, and at first you have a conviction. At first you want to say something, you do say something, and you say something, and it falls on deaf ears. And it continues what it is that you're not comfortable with. And it continues until you just give up and you say, what is the point of saying anything? And before you know it, you're partaking in it. You're involved in it. It's just that simple. But the world lies in wickedness. No fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove. And with this comes misery and sorrow, because our peace comes from God. What happened when Samson's hair was cut? Yes, his power was gone. His strength was of the Lord. What happened when the children of Israel went up to battle without the Lord? They were conquered. There was a great slaughter. And the ark of the covenant of the Lord was taken. And their enemies rejoiced, because God was not with them. God was not with them. All true joy comes from fellowship with God. In the presence of God is fullness of joy. And without the presence of God, which departs from us, except we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins. We have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous, when we confess our sins. But that fear of separation is the gift of God to keep us in His will. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. We find peace only in fellowship with Him. So it does weaken our Christian witness. And then we find ourselves in despair and sorrow and fear. And we don't understand why, because we don't understand the reason He says things. But does that mean we should not do them? No, we do them because He says it. He knows. We lived our life without Him. And we suffered. But He's given us the greatest of joy and of peace and of comfort, to have a God that walks with us. Abide in Him. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love. That's what He says. This is why the world wants to take it from you. So we must look very diligently to our steps. Let the light of the Word be a lamp unto our feet. Be obedient to that voice that is behind you when you go to the left hand or to the right. This is the way. Walk ye in it. This is where the peace of God is. And remaining in Him.